Hey everyone, it's Melody from SportUP. Welcome. Glad you're here today. I thought I would do a quick video for all of you newcomers to yoga. It's quite daunting the first time you come to a class, so I thought I would put together a few pointers on how a yoga class usually goes, whether it's with SportUP or anybody else, the common practices and little nuances that you might see that you might not be aware of the first time you go to a yoga class. So here we go. So point number 1, if you're walking into a yoga studio, please do take your shoes off. A lot of yoga studios will ask you to leave your shoes at the door or to take them off and put them in a locker before you go into the studio or out the back. And that's the same with mobile phones. So no mobile phones in the yoga studio. It is a safe, calming, relaxing environment. So I highly recommend you leave your phone in the car, leave your phone in one of the lockers, or switch it off completely and keep it in your bag if you're practicing somewhere else. 2, please let your yoga instructor know if you have any injuries. So this is something quite common for newcomers. It was really common for myself. I was really stubborn when I first started yoga, and I treated it like a sport a little bit, and I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I don't need to let them know. Like, I don't want to let them know or admit I have injuries. No, stupid Melody. So please do let your yoga instructor know if you have any injuries, because yoga, it's not a sport. Like, leave competition, leave that on the sports field. Please come to yoga to nourish your body and strengthen your body and your mind. And that includes working around any injuries that you have. Your yoga instructors are extremely well versed in this. They've done it day in, day out. And they know the best ways to look after injuries, work around them, so we don't inflame or leave you walking out of the studio going, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. It's not what we want. We want you to walk out feeling refreshed, challenged, but never in pain. Number 3 is choose your yoga mat. So yoga is not like an airline. You don't get assigned a seat. You can pick wherever you like. So you can go up the front, up the back, in the middle, wherever suits you. There's no right or wrong. A lot of people, especially newcomers, are really afraid to hop up the front for the first time. You might feel self-conscious. For me personally, I am blind as a bat. Like, if I take my glasses off, I can't see anything ever. Like, I'm shocking. I can't see my hand. Like, it's so bad. So if you are new, you might be up the back, up the front, wherever you like. I personally like to be up the front because I can't see, but 2, yoga instructors, especially if you're new, it allows them to be really, they have really good access to you. So yoga instructors, and you may or may not know this, that they can actually adjust you. If you're new to poses, they'll give you the correct alignment, or they'll tell you verbally. So being closer allows you to follow their directions, look at their body, understand their alignment a lot better. So don't feel self-conscious, jump right up the front if you need to. What number am I on? 4? I think I'm on 4. Hope so. Is choose your props. So you will need usually a number of props for yoga. Some classes may use them, some may not. They're completely up to you. You can use as many props as you like. And I will do another video on what props there are in yoga and how they can help you. But props are really there to help us get into poses. We may not be able to do the full extension of certain poses or twist our bodies sideways yet, or by any means. But props really help us stretch our bodies out and help us get into different poses. So they're really handy. So common props you'll see are blocks. So they're pretty much foam rectangular things. Grab one or 2 of those, as many as you need, and just have them beside your yoga mat. You may also grab a strap. So a strap is pretty much like a piece of fabric that allows you to kind of stretch out and get into different poses. And you may grab a bolster as well, or a blanket. Bolsters are really great. I never used them when I started yoga. I use them all the time now. They're like these giant fluffy cushions that I can sit on and relax and kind of like hug in Shavasana. It's like awesome. Pillows are really cool. So you can grab a bolster or a blanket as well. So blankets are really handy if you want to sit on them. Sometimes it's quite hard to sit cross-legged for the first time. For many of us, we haven't really sat cross-legged for a long time, probably since we were kids. So helping sitting on a blanket really helps you get into that pose much easier, and it's much more comfortable as well. So props, grab them, put them beside your mat, go for it. Now the fifth one, definitely on 5 now because I was on 4 just before, is how to start a yoga class. So you can sit on your mat, lay on your mat, rock from side to side, close your eyes, whatever you do, whatever feels good for you before the yoga session starts. And your yoga teacher will signal that the class is starting by asking you to get into a seated position or a standing position. So a seated position may be called Sukhasana, which is happy pose, which is pretty much cross-legged position, sitting up really nice and straight with your arms out. Or Tadasana, which is mountain pose, which is standing up in a highly active form. So they will guide you into these poses at the start of your class. Number 6 is, what is number 6? Let me think about it. Yoga teachers may like to adjust you or help you get into alignment during your class. So that may be by just tilting your legs or just helping you move your knees slightly in the right direction. If you are uncomfortable with being touched, just let your yoga teacher know at the start of the class, completely fine. They'll just help you get into the right alignment of poses or help you get into the right area verbally just by saying like raise your right arm instead of your left, or just remember to tilt your pelvis under. They'll give you more verbal cues, but just let them know what you're comfortable with at the start, which is really good. More information you can give us to help you, what's good for your body, what you're comfortable with, the better experience we'll all have. Number 7 is if you don't feel comfortable in a pose, like if it is actually painful, don't do it. So I was extremely competitive when I started yoga. I just thought it was another sport. I've been doing yoga for a really long time, but when I first started, I actually hurt myself because I didn't really get what it was all about. I just jumped into yoga classes and wasn't really explained the theory or what I was doing or why. So yoga really is about nourishing and protecting your body. So that's evening it out, strengthening it, lengthening the spine, giving your body more energy, creating space between the bones and joints and allowing your neural pathways to travel more easily. Hurting yourself does not come as a part of the description. So if it's too much for you, that's completely fine. Your practice is all about you. It's not like a one size fits all, everyone has to do everything. You just do what you feel like on the day. Your yoga practice may be sitting in child's pose for half the class, or sitting on your knees, which is absolutely 150% fine. Go for it. So you may be sitting and seated with your hands up if you feel uncomfortable in a certain pose, or you may just lay on into child's pose, and I'll do another video on what child's pose is later on as well, but that's completely fine. Remember, it's your class, and no one else is judging at all. Now at the end of the class, a lot of people are unaware of Savasana, which is corpse pose. It's actually my favorite part of the class. I've done yoga for a really long time. It's still the favorite. So what Savasana is really allowing you to lay on the floor on your back, your arms up, palms facing out, your legs out, feet folding out as well, and really allows you to check in with yourself. It's a really beautiful end to the class because it allows you to cool down, very evenly in the body, helps you to relax, and also helps you to check in and understand how your body's feeling. There might be pains and niggles, and your right side may be feeling different from your left side, which I know mine certainly does. So it allows you to take note of that and be really present by focusing on the breath. So it's a really beautiful part of the class. Some people are very surprised the first time they do it. They're not quite sure what to expect, but just know that that is part of the class. After Savasana, you will come up into a seated position slowly, and there are a couple of things that might happen in a yoga class. If you're in a more traditional yoga studio, you may be asked to chant or close the class with an Om, something like Om. Don't freak out. A lot of people do the first time they hear it. They think it's a bit weird, a whole lot of random adults who don't know each other chanting in a room. It's just part of the yoga practice, and it really helps when you do it and not think about it too much. It actually feels really good, feeling the vibration coming up into your chest. So be aware you don't have to participate if you don't want to. Completely fine. But just good to know that that may happen, that may not. It does happen in more traditional yoga studios than not. But just good to aware that that may be part of the practice if you're practicing in different studios. The most common finish to any class is coming into prayer position, hands, thumbs into your chest bone, shoulders away and elbows down, head bent, and your teacher will ask you to recite after her Namaste, which is pretty much the Eastern equivalent of peace be with you. It's a beautiful saying in yogic text, and it helps you thank yourself for being here today, for actually taking the time out to focus on yourself and actually want to better yourself, because if you improve yourself, you improve your interactions with others and ultimately improve the world, which is awesome. And it's a beautiful way to thank everyone in the room, give gratitude to the day. Now, after you have completed the class, please do, this is the last point, is actually wipe down your yoga mat. So you may see people reaching for cloths and spray bottles or a bucket after the class. This is just to wipe down your yoga mat, just to clean it off from sweat and any other residue that might be from your practice if you're using a studio's mat. So if you're going to a studio that has a lot of classes a day, they really do appreciate it. It's common courtesy in the yoga community if you can just clean your mat. Those are the main points for your first yoga class, some of the things that you may or may not see or encounter, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective on what your first class might be like, and I hope you really take the leap to jumping into your first class. Yoga is, for me, it's one of the best experiences of my day. It allows me to be so present and just grateful. It allows me to think of all the people I love and think of just the world that we live in and just look at it with absolute gratitude. So hope that that's all for me today, and hopefully see you on the mat soon. Bye.